Hi, everyone. Okay, finally got this to work. We will get live stream working well eventually. Let me post on Google Classroom that I'm live right now. Live streaming on YouTube. There we go. Okay. Hello, everyone. So just to give you all a heads up, today is the first day officially of online learning. What you all need to do for my class is you need to pick two art projects from the Art Choices board and complete them, and then do the weekly question. Everything is due this Friday, March 27th by 5 p.m. today. Really quickly, you can take a look over here. So what I have, sorry again, everyone. Thank you for being flexible with your time. So what I have right here now is my little setup where I've been doing some art. I'm going to be doing some art right now. The one that I'm going to pick, the Art Choice Board project, is the one where it says pick 3 to 5 objects and put them together, gather them and arrange them, and draw them. So create a still life out of them. So if you can see here, right now I have the 2 pasta boxes. This is the pencil I'm going to draw with. The 2 pasta boxes. I have a watch here and a Clorox disinfectant wipe. Because of the shutdown and things like that, I know everyone's been going to the store and getting supplies. Clorox wipe to make sure you're always sanitized and keeping clean. And on the watch right here, just a fun little thing is I put the time as 5:40, and that's the time that schools were announced that they're being shut down for COVID. So just keeping that in mind, that when you pick your objects, sometimes you can put meaning behind them, and other times you don't have to put meaning. You can, oh, hello. After you can, you don't have to put meaning, you can just gather these objects randomly, or other times you can have meaning with them. So really quickly, let me just take a look who joined. Hello, hello. Really quickly, what I'm doing is I'm going to draw a still life for you. So I'm going to show you how I would draw something like this. This is my 3 to 5 objects that I'm arranging together. So if you chose this project, if you chose this idea for your still life, then this is a way that you can draw that. Hi, Angel. How are you? Very cool. Thanks for joining. So yes, so if you chose this idea here, let's do it. Let's get started. Cool. So what I'm going to do is I have my things right here. Here is where I'm drawing. You can also just put it on your lap. You can have it on the couch, on the bed, wherever you're drawing. All you need is a paper, any type of paper, and a pencil. Or if you want to use markers, color pencils, paint, all those things, you can do that as well. Some of you asked if you can use photo editing in Photoshop. You can do that also. Totally feel free, but please do not copy from anyone else's work. You can use examples online to give you ideas, but it has to be your own work and your own design, right? So the first thing that I'm going to do is I have 4 images or 4 objects right here. So what I'm going to do is just kind of sketch the shapes. So remember we learned in class about the 2D and the 3D 2D shapes, right? And 3D objects. So the 3D objects, you start by drawing 2D shapes. So first, for this Clorox wipe, this 3D object, this is a cylinder. But I'm going to just start by drawing kind of like a little rectangle shape right here. So if you can see that, I'll make it a little bit darker right here. Okay, so that's kind of my rectangle shape to start. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a big rectangle here and split it in half. Okay, and that's going to be kind of where the pasta boxes are. So it's just starting to get the feel for the different shapes, things like that. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is draw a circle here, and that circle is going to be the watch, where the watch is going to go. Okay. Actually, I might want to fix this a little bit here. I noticed that my watch is more in the center of the Clorox wipe. So I'm using the Clorox wipe to determine where I'm going to draw my watch. So it's more in the center here. Okay. And then those are my 4 basic shapes that I'm creating here, which is really cool. So here are my 4 basic shapes. Now, the hardest part is kind of after you have these basic shapes is to start creating the different shadows and the shading. So if you notice, I have a window coming from right here. So the light is actually coming in from this side. And if we look up a little further, I have a lamp. So I have my light source coming from 2 different places. So remember when we talked about light sources, we draw a little sun to show where the light source is. So I have my one sun coming in from here, or from the window, right? So I draw my little sun there. And then I have the lamp coming from here, and that's my other light source. So it's kind of hard to tell, but the shadow is coming out in the front here and on the side. Hi, Vamadi, how are you? So here are where the shadows are coming from, okay? So when you draw, this isn't the only type of project that you can pick. You can pick anything from that Art Choices board, but if you're curious on how to draw a still life, how to draw different objects, here are some ideas to get you started, okay? So what you can do is now you can go back in and then you can add more details. So I'm looking at my Clorox wipe. I kind of see that this is a curved shape. So I'm going to just curve it like this. Notice I'm taking my pencil, I'm holding it not like this, but I'm holding it like this so I can put some pressure and create a darker shade, more texture here. Just like this. Okay, so that's that first part right here. Ooh, little easel. Ooh, hello. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here and now just add a little bit more shadow and texture. And then this part here, this Clorox wipe curves in the front again. Okay, so what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and keep everything the same. I'm not going to touch this. So I'm tempted to move the watch out of the way so I can see and show you what this looks like, but then that would mess up the position of everything. So what I'm actually going to do is just try not to touch all these, try and keep it in the same spot so that way it doesn't change so I can draw it on my paper. It's really cool. So I'm just going to shade like this. Okay. And then I see that there's some more shadows down here, so I can add a little bit more shading. It'd be really cool if I can edit this video and then add some music to it, in the background while I'm shading and sketching. It'd be kind of nice. What to do? I'm going to add some shading here. If you want, you can take your finger or you can take a tissue and you can kind of just do some smudging here, which is really cool. Start to get that shape, that kind of that shadow, a little bit more detail. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on these pasta boxes. I'm going to save the watch for a little bit later. I'm going to do the pasta boxes first. So I noticed that the pasta boxes are a 3D object. Kind of looks like a rectangular prism or kind of a cube that has been extended a little bit more, right? So I'm going to kind of go back here, draw these 2 lines. And then I see that the lines, they kind of come out more this way to show a little bit of perspective. We talked about that word a little bit in graffiti art, some perspective. I'm going to erase these parts here. Okay. Because remember, I'm looking at it from this place, this direction going forward. So that's how I'm kind of looking at that artwork. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for coming, joining the live stream. Just doing a little bit of drawing. I hope everyone's staying safe, staying inside today. It's snowing, which is kind of surprising, but you know, it's pretty views. You know, you can choose the art project, pick one of the art choices where it says look outside the window and sketch out your window. So you might be able to get some snow, or, well, now it's kind of raining a little bit. Still very cold. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is kind of just draw this a little bit more. Okay. My sketches, I'm erasing more and more as I'm getting more detailed, and that's okay. It's okay if you erase your sketches. Hi, Juan. It's okay if you erase your sketches because it's just a guideline. As you get more detailed and you think, oh, maybe the pasta boxes actually should be on the bottom instead, you can erase that. You can be flexible. That's why you're using a pencil, right? With a pen, it's a little bit harder to do, a little bit harder to achieve. Okay. Let's sketch this. Again, you don't have to sketch these 3 objects. If you like them, if you want to sketch along and draw along with me, you can. If you want to pick your own 3 objects and then, or 4 objects and arrange them in different places, you totally can. Again, here are my objects. You have 1, the Clorox wipe, 2, the watch, and then these 2 pasta boxes right here. They're just things that I found around my house, just picked up, searched around. Okay. Now notice there's something that I have to fix, I have to edit. My pasta boxes are a little bit wider. They're a little bit bigger than right here. And I can tell because the size of my watch should be maybe the same size or a little bit bigger than my pasta box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually make this a little bit longer. Okay, and erase this line here. Okay, and I have my first pasta box set up. Now I'm going to make the second one down here. Okay. Then you go all the way to the bottom. A lot of rain going on there. Hi, everyone. Okay, so this is kind of what we're starting off with here. Now, compared to what it started out in the beginning, we just had those basic shapes, right? The rectangles, the circles, and the ovals. Now we're starting to see the forms take shape. Those 3D objects, those forms, they're taking shape. Hi, everyone. Very cool. Let's see. Now we can go back in and start to add a little bit more details. I'm noticing that my cylinder is a little bit off. I maybe want to make it a little bit taller, maybe even a little bit more thinner, right? So I might go back in there, erase that and make it thinner. There we go. Fix that right there. And notice I've only been drawing for about 5-6 minutes, and I have a long way to go. It's okay to take your time. It's okay to go at your own pace, right? This is supposed to be a relaxing thing to do during your week at home, doing online learning. You must have gotten a lot of other notifications for math, ELA, history, all of your other science, all of your other classes. So art should be just a relaxing way to kind of go at your own pace and do your own thing. Many different types of projects. I know some of you decided to do cooking as one of your projects. Some other people did some Legos, making Legos. That's really cool. I got some really cool submissions so far. Okay. Okay, so now this is kind of where I'm going to see, I'm going to start drawing in the label, and then you're going to see this become more of the Clorox wipe. When you add the labelings, when you add more of the shadings on top of that, you're going to see it happen. Hi, Janice. Very cool colors. Like that you highlighted my name. That's pretty cool. Okay, so let's see. I have, let's see, I'm going to draw this here. Okay, so this is the part where it says kills the 99.9% germs. Then I have the Clorox sign here, so I'm going to draw that Clorox sign in just like a quick sketch. From my angle, I see it kind of coming out, like coming around, so I don't really see the X here. You know, you kind of see it, but from where I'm sitting, it kind of gets lost around the cylinder. So what I end up drawing here might look a little bit different from when you're drawing your own. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Then I have the disinfecting wipes label that's going to be over here with some more descriptions. And then it's going to take me down to the very bottom here. I'm noticing that maybe it should be a little bit longer, but that's okay. I'm just going to leave it like that. You can go back and edit, erase, and draw as many times as you want. But for me, I'm just going to kind of work on getting something down, getting something done. Remember Jake Parker from Inktober, finished, not perfect, right? It's okay. Okay. This kind of looks like a little bit like the beginnings of a Clorox wipe here. So I'm going to go back and add some details now. So here, remember my light source is coming from here. So my shading is actually going to be more on this side. Let's take a look. Yep. Okay. I'm going to erase this part a little bit more. Again, thinking about how long we're into. We're about 17 minutes into this live stream so far. And this is pretty much what I've started with. So I talked for maybe about 2 or 3 minutes. So maybe 14, 15 minutes of drawing so far. And this is what we have, right? This project isn't meant to take hours and hours and hours. It can if you really want it to, if you want to get detailed, if you get really into it. But this project is supposed to be kind of a quick sketch. You know, you add the details and the proportions where you can. You make sure your shading is right, things like that. So it shouldn't take you a very long time, but you shouldn't rush. You should take your time with it and go at your own pace, a pace that works best for you. Hello, hi everyone. Okay. All right, so I've got the basic shape for the Clorox wipe down. Now I'm gonna go in and add the lettering for Clorox. I'm gonna leave the lettering for this until a little bit later. I'm just gonna make sure I got my Clorox wipe first. Clorox wipe right first. There we go. Okay, so I have 2, looks like the Clorox goes in a diagonal like this. So CLORO, and the X is kind of cut off. So I have my letters there. I'm gonna go back in. Okay, so I have a C. Looks a little bit, let's make it a little bit longer, I think. There we go. Okay, so it kind of looks like the C of the Clorox wipe. See the L. It's the L right there. If everyone can kind of see that, putting those details in. Erasing the sketches as I go along. Oops. Okay, so I have an O for Clorox wipe. The R is a tricky one. Let's take a look what the R looks like. Might actually be a little bit closer to the O. The R is thinner. Okay. But am I blocking everyone with my hair? I'm gonna see it. Okay. How's that? Doesn't really look like the R. Let's try this again. There we go. So the Clorox. Okay. Just gonna make sure this needs to be a little bit lower. Cool. And then just as I thought, the X doesn't really show because it's gonna be rotating, kind of going a little bit over. Notice how I ended up making mine a little bit more diagonal. So what I'm gonna actually do is I'm just gonna cheat a little bit. I'm just gonna move this up. It's totally fine. Okay, so I'm gonna draw this here. Okay. Going back again, adding some more details. Right, so don't feel like you need to get everything 100% right the first time. I'm erasing, I'm redrawing so many times. Just looking and observing, seeing, okay, this C right here in the Clorox wipe, when I draw this diamond shape in the background around the C, it's gonna be a little bit higher. So the little part of the C is gonna stick out. That's something that I didn't catch the first time. So I'm gonna go back and try it again, okay? So I think let's try it one more time. All right, I think I got it here. Now I'm gonna bring all this up. This line here looks parallel to this to the edge of the C. So I'm gonna observe that, copy that parallel line and draw that there. Okay, going up here. It looks like the very tip of my diamond shape here, that background diamond shape is above the R. So I hit that one pretty well. I'm gonna take a look at the O. It looks like the O is still included. So I'm gonna erase that line here and just draw that like that. Okay, so I have my Clorox wipe going here. My diamond shape is like this. And this is kind of what I have for the beginning of the Clorox wipe. I'm gonna redraw this up here and actually just erase this and make it a little bit higher. It's okay. I felt really proud of that shading on the top, but I was also very okay with erasing it, knowing that because I made that shading the first time, I can make it again. I did it once, I can do it again. You did it once, you can do it again. So it's totally fine to erase something that you've drawn. You're proud of it, it's fine, it's awesome. You did it, and it's okay to draw it again. I'm gonna just draw this a little bit higher now. And there we go. Cool. All right. We have about 13 minutes left of this live stream, so let's see how much I can get done in 13 minutes. I want to end this at 2 p.m. Sorry, there was some sorry, there were some technical difficulties earlier with getting started. We didn't get started right at 1. Apologize about that. But if you like these live streams and you want to keep you want me to keep doing them, I can do another one and pick a different project on the art choice board every single time. So that way you can not only see the examples that I put on the material section, but you can also see me do these drawings as well. Okay. Okay. So now with about 12 minutes left, oval shape. It's a little bit flatter because the watch is kind of on its side, kind of tilted down instead of directly at you. Make this a little bit flatter like that. And then there's the wristbands to the watch, right? These parts here. So it looks like you can kind of see this one here, but it curves around and you see more of it on the back. So these holes right here, this right here is the back side, kind of the back part of the wrist bracelet, the wristband. So I'm going to kind of draw that in right here. So here's the wristband. Okay, I'm going to draw that in. That back part is going to be here. Okay, and then that front part is going to be on top here. Okay. Let's see. So this side is actually even thicker than I thought it was. This a little bit thicker here. Okay. I'm gonna make this part a little bit thicker over here. See, it's actually a little bit lower. So I'm gonna actually draw this a little bit lower. There we go. Something didn't feel right. You know, when you draw something and then it just doesn't look right at first, it's not that it's a bad drawing. It's not that you're a bad artist. It's sometimes it's just not in the right spot. It's not proportional. All right. So what's really going to make this this watch pop now is the shading. So notice, if you notice, pointing to the camera, if you notice on the actual watch itself, there's a lot of color in this, but we're just using a pencil, or you can use colored pencils and markers again if you want. You can use paint, but because I'm just using a pencil, my drawing is black and white. So how am I going to get this beautiful red color to show in my drawing? The answer is through shading. So if you notice right here, this part, it looks a little bit lighter. That's because the sun, or the light is shining down. Our light source is shining down on this. So what I'm going to do is take my pencil like this, and I'm just going to start shading it in. I'm going to shade in kind of like this whole part here. And then I'm going to take my eraser and just erase that part where it's shining through. And I'm going to go back and erase it a little more. And a little bit more. And what you start to see is that part kind of shining through. Here we go. Cool. Now we're gonna draw the part where the end of the wristband where you kind of draw, or I'm sorry, where you kind of like attach and buckle in that buckle of the watch right there. I'm gonna draw that one here. Hopefully everyone can see that. I'm gonna draw the other part right here. And then I'm just gonna lightly color those in because those are also both red. Something I like to do is whenever I overlap things, I make one part of the shading a little darker on the bottom because I think that when you have something overlapping, the shadow is going to shine down underneath. So I'm just making that part a little bit darker here. Okay. What else is there? Cool. Then there's the buckle. So the buckle is this kind of rectangle shape, and it's made of metal. It's a metal piece. I'm just drawing that in right there. Then I'm going to go to the bottom and draw the little holes. I'm going to try and count them. 1, 2, 3. Messed up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 little holes. 1, 2, 3. I messed up my holes. I'm going to try again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. And then the part that's the red part, there's kind of a border around it, even though we're looking at the back part of this watch. You can still see a little bit of red showing through on the bottom, so you're going to draw that there. And then there's no buckle on the other side. There's just the leftover part, that flap. So I'm just going to erase and kind of draw what it would look like underneath. Okay. So if you want to take a zoom in, this is kind of what I have so far. All right. And again, this is just, this is a little less than 30 minutes worth of drawing. So just sitting here, I'm just observing my 3 to 5 found objects and drawing it onto my paper, adding shading as I go. Okay. All right. The inside of my watch has this flower shape. I actually got this watch because it was a Beauty and the Beast watch. So the inside is a rose, which is really beautiful. Just drawing the little petals. And then actually inside this watch, there's only the number 12. And then there's just lines to show the other times, the other parts and times. So I'm just going to draw in these little lines here. And then again, I put the watch to say 5:40 because that was the time we found out, at least on Twitter, there was a timestamp, the time that the schools weren't open. So I'm just stopping the time there. Oops. There you go. So 5. 5:40. You want to get really specific with the details, you can add the little second watch here. It's right at 5:40 it was released. Okay. If you want to add a little bit more details around the watch, notice that there's this golden border, so you can go back in. You can erase around here. Okay. I'm going to add this border around, just like this. And if you want, I'm going to do a couple more just quick details to get this down. I can stay an extra 5 minutes or so past 2, so we can end at 2:05 instead. And then I can upload this uh, in my next post to show the finished piece, the finished picture. So that way you can kind of see what this looks like when it's completely shaded in. I might add in a little bit more shading here and there. Okay. Hope everyone's doing okay. This is also a space where you can comment if you have any questions about uh, Jupyter grades, about Google Classroom, all those things. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them right now about the work, about how you're feeling with online learning, all those things. Okay. So in the last few minutes, I'm going to get started on the pasta boxes here. So if you noted, notice there's a lot of tiny writing on these pasta boxes. So a nice trick that I like to do, so I don't have to write down everything, but it still looks like there's writing, is you're going to have the main parts here. So I'm using the rizzoni pasta. So I have one here, and I have one logo that's going to go here. Oh, let me make it a little bit darker so you can see. Okay. Hello, Monroe. Hello, Kitty. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw the rizzoni right here. So I'm just going to have an R here to help me remember. Okay. Then what I'm going to do, and I'll zoom in so you can see this, is I'm just going to draw little lines. I'm going to count how many lines of text I have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 lines in this section here, and it's split into 3 parts here. So the first section is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 lines. I'm going to try and make it parallel to this here. The text here is going to be parallel, those lines parallel to this line. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then in between those lines, I'm going to draw little tiny boxes. Okay, so little tiny boxes. Okay, little tiny boxes. Now, what you're going to start to see, if I zoom in here, I'm going to take this and zoom in. These are what the little tiny boxes look like. So they're super small, but when you zoom out and you look at the overall piece, it's gonna appear as if there's writing here, and that's a really cool effect. Whoa! Almost lost the easel there. I keep going. You can make some of the boxes different lengths, different widths, because each letter in the alphabet is also a different length and width also, which is really cool. Each letter is so unique, has its own little flair. You can make some of the rectangles on the line, a little bit under the line, because then we have our letters that are like the Q's and the Y's that have little tails that hang at the end, right? Keep going, making our boxes. If you really want to get detailed, you can write all of these individually. That would be awesome. So this is kind of a quick sketch version, filling in those parts there. Okay, so you're going to do. And then for some of them, what you're going to do is color them in. So you're going to color in some of those boxes. So what you end up getting is kind of like a barcode effect. So it looks a little bit like barcode writing. Okay. So this is kind of what you get when you zoom in, right? It looks a little scratched up, the little boxes, but when you zoom out, right, it's very cool. Oh, Angel said, missed on the last live stream, you said that you were going to show your dog. My dog is currently sleeping. I don't want to wake him up. Maybe next time. But you can see a cat. I can show you a little cat. Say hello. Show you the dog next time. No guarantees. If the dog is sleeping again, then I can't show you the dog. But eventually in one of these live streams, I will show you my dog. My dog's name is Ranger. Okay, so that's kind of what it's going to look like. And then you keep going. So you have another section here. So again, you can draw the little boxes again like this. And then you keep going with it. Let me zoom down here. I have about 2 more minutes left until 2:05. So what I can do for all of you is I can keep sketching until 2:05, and then I'll log off the live stream, and then I'll upload this completed sketch here. But this is just an idea to get you started, right? So you can continue making art projects. You can continue making art, and this is just kind of a guide of how can you get started with sketching these objects. They seem impossible at first because they're 3D objects, they're not cartoon looking, but they're really, once you break them down into shapes and you add shading, it's really manageable, really easy to do with practice and with time. Okay, so don't rush, take your time. I have 1 more minute with all of you. I guess we can work on this part here. So the rotini box, or what is this word? Ronzoni box. You can kind of add these details here. If you want to add a background, which is really fun too, you can't really see my background a little bit. It's kind of just a wall and a window. But so if I have a window here, you can kind of, or if you have a window, you can add a window over here, right? Oh, it's a little bit higher. So the window's higher. Right. I have a bookshelf in the background, but you can't really see the bookshelf. Thinking about this, you got a little background for the bookshelf. Right. There's a table that this is all on right now. So if you wanted to add the table, right? So I did a really zoomed in version of this so that you can all see it, but you can do a zoomed out version. So these would appear a lot smaller. Okay. So here's just some ideas. Thank you all so much for watching. Very excited. So many of you stopped in for the live stream. Oh, see my face. Very happy you all stopped in for the live stream. As always with the live streams, once it ends, there will be a recording on the YouTube channel. You can like and subscribe. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel to keep posted on when there will be more live streams. Again, all your work for this week is due this Friday, March 27th by 5 p.m. Okay? Good luck. Hope you all are staying safe, and see you all later. Bye. Okay. Did I do it? Oh, hold on. It's still playing. Oh, no. Okay. Okay. End.